This show is a proud member of the Blue Collar Roots Network and is created for professionals and people who know what they're doing already. The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the network or the sponsors. Do everything according to government regulations, OSHA safety practices, and manufacturer listing and labeling instructions. Not just because someone said so on a podcast. Now, on with the show.
You're listening to the Tool Pros Podcast.
If you take all the combined tool knowledge of Tim the Toolman Taylor, Bob Vila, Tom Silva, and Nick Offerman, you get the Tool Pros, Billy Noth and Brent Ridley.
Hello, and welcome to the Tool Pros Podcast. This is your host, Brent Ridley, sitting virtually next to, like always, Billy Noth. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing great, Brent. I'm doing great, Brent.
That's funny. Sounds like you're still asleep there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm tired. I've been gutting a bathroom and trying to get that squared away, so.
Good stuff. Before I introduce our awesome guest, I wanted to take a minute and thank one of our new sponsors, KC Tool. Guys, if you haven't checked them out, go to kctoolco.com. Fantastic company, straight out of Kansas City. They're an American company, but they sell a lot of European tools. Nipix, Wera, Weha, a lot of the great hand tools that a lot of us have used before. They sell those. So go check them out. Put in the Tool Pros code at checkout, Tool Pros, and you get 10% off your total purchase. So go check them out. All right, so let's get on with the show here, and let me introduce our wonderful guest here. We got the one and only Andrew Greaves, a.k.a. AK Greaves, or HVAC Comedy. How you doing, Andrew?
Oh, I'm doing Brent great. How are you? Isn't that what I'm supposed to say?
That's how Billy says it.
Okay.
That's how us up in New York say it.
All right. I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Well, fantastic, man. Thank you for coming on, brother. Thank you for coming on, man. The reason I wanted to bring you on, man, is because you got the inside track with the Veto stuff, and I'm really excited and I'm jealous, and it looks awesome. So you recently made a wonderful video on YouTube under the AK Greaves channel about the drill bag, the Veto drill bag. So can you give us a little bit of lowdown on what that is and all the cool features it has?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just got this bag about 4 days ago, and it's called the Drill Bag XL. It's part of a 2-bag series. There's a drill bag that is not as big. I did get the larger of the two. So it's being marketed and kind of given out as a bag to tote around power tools and be able to carry all the chargers and accessories with a whole bunch of power tools and carry any hand tools in the bag on the outside. So it's kind of is a little bit of a departure from the typical Veto bags you see nowadays with the hand tools on the inside pockets. Now, I was excited about this bag for different reasons. I saw this bag at the AHR Expo and thought immediately that it would make a fantastic installation bag for guys doing 5-ton and under heat pump changeouts, furnace, air handlers, stuff like that. Something that you could carry the majority of the hand tools, if not all, and also the majority, if not all, of the consumables that you go through during a typical install.
So you're thinking you can put like glue and tape and pipe dope and all that good stuff kind of down in the little center pocket where the little dividers are? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. So that's kind of what makes this unique from other similar looking bags from the outside. So I had a Klein duffel bag, tool bag a few years back. It just had a big open cavity inside. Nothing that I would ever even consider putting something like primer or something like that in that would spill. So this drill bag has a unique kind of tray that's removable, and it has Velcro dividers. So it's fully modular, customizable, and allows you to make some really tight fits. So you have this even organized tray that you can put things like primer, glue, cement, pipe dope, all those kinds of things, screws, wire nuts, all the consumables that we make 5, 6, 7 trips back to the van for throughout an install.
That's pretty cool. I was watching your video, and when you pulled out the little tray and it had the dividers, but they were Velcro. So you can move the dividers to any width that you would like. So you could fit a little bit bigger item in one spot and a little skinnier item in another. I saw where you had all your consumable stuff, your tape and all that. But What I really liked it for was for all the batteries and stuff for your drill. The primary purpose that it was for, because I'll admit it, I'm kind of disorganized with my drill stuff now. I kind of got it just stuffed on the shelf in the truck, and there's no organization. If I could have a bag like that, I could have the drill, the batteries set in there with the charger and the drill. You could see everything laid out real nice and neat, and when you need to charge stuff and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And if you saw the still photos I put in there to demonstrate the bag being used for what it was actually intended by Veto, and I did have all my batteries and chargers laid out in it just to show the audience what its potential is. And it works just as advertised. It is a really sweet setup. And one recommendation I got in the comments of that video, and I think it's a great idea, would be for Veto to sell additional trays. And they'd be stackable. And they would be. If you saw how deep that bag was, you could stack 3 or 4 of those. If you were using things that were shallow enough to keep the tray flush, you could really have quite an organized interior of that bag.
Yeah, that makes sense. You line the bottom with 5 or 6 batteries, and then put another tray on top and put another drill or something like that on it and all that stuff. No, that sounds like a great idea. Now, it has pockets on the outside. How do you feel about the pockets on the outside, Andrew?
Like I said, I've never had a bag like that. It's never been my kind of cup of tea to have tools on the outside just for the sake of theft, or you just assume that if it's on the outside like that they're going to fall out. But they really did fit in there pretty snugly. The video showed more tools stuffed in there than I probably would actually carry on a job for an install. I wouldn't have 9 screwdrivers, which is pretty much what I had in that video, but that was to demonstrate its capacity. So I think if you're doing a residential job, you're in a walkout basement, you're really just setting it and forgetting it for the job. You make one trip out to the location of the install and you set it down and you're good and you just pull from it. So I think in those situations, it's really going to lend itself to that type of work. Attic, not so much.
Yeah, so you think it's a little heavy for attic or rooftop work?
Even with rooftop work, you could rope it up and then you're good. It's just crawling around in an attic is probably not as ideal for a large bag anyway. But like I said in the video, it doesn't really matter what you do. It just sucks doing an install in the attic.
That is the truth, 100%. Now, I've done a mini install in attics, and they're all terrible.
Right.
Andrew, if you had to guess, however you have your drill bag packed out exactly the way you want it, weight-wise, what are you talking?
That's going to vary wildly depending on if you leave it at the tray or if you decide to pile on a bunch of stuff afterward. So you can put a full-size Sawzall in there in addition to your drills. You can put crowbars, pipe wrenches, that kind of thing. So sky's the limit on that. I guarantee you could pack 90 pounds into that thing.
That's more what I'm getting at. The way you would have it set up for you, what would you think it would come in at weight-wise?
50 pounds tops is what I'd want to keep it at. I would only really use this bag for that type of job. To me, it's really good for a residential installer or light commercial installs. And I wouldn't mind it being 50 pounds, even a little bit heavier if it's just to get me one way from the van to the install and then just leave it there and pull from it. So like I said, about 50 pounds.
Cool. It has 2 pretty big handles. You know, they kind of loop up and they got like a little leather coating on the handle and everything. And the handles look very nice. But I'm a shoulder strap kind of guy. Does it have a shoulder strap?
It does not.
Oh, man. See, that's the kind of thing. I love Veto, but not a whole lot of their stuff comes with shoulder straps. I think they should, personally.
I'm personally not one to use shoulder straps, but the other bags I do have from Veto did come with them, like the LC and the MC. This bag, I have to think that if you had a shoulder strap, it would only exaggerate the potential for the tools to fall out. If you have all those hand tools on the outside and then you've got the thing slung over your shoulder, rubbing up against your side while you're walking, I just see much more potential to lose a screwdriver every time you walk with it.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, the DRXL, which is, I guess, the drill bag, extra large, like the one that you have, it comes in at $180. Is it worth it?
I think it could be worth it if the application is right. If you're somebody that does many installs throughout the year, maybe weekly, I think it could be a great option for guys that do this on a daily basis or a near daily basis.
So you're saying for a serviceman, you don't see that it makes a whole lot of sense, but maybe for an install fella, it's the ticket to go with, huh?
It's going to be in my service van, at least for a while. And I don't do installs a whole lot, but I think it's something that will serve me well if I'm doing a split system or something like that.
The DRLC, it's $10 cheaper. And I guess it looks relatively a little bit smaller, looks a couple inches smaller each way, and it's only $10 cheaper. I wonder if the smaller one would just be a little bit more compact and be a little bit more service friendly versus installer friendly.
To me, it wouldn't be worth it because I saw it in person at the expo. And to me, in person, it looks significantly smaller to the point where it kind of neutralizes its advantage. To me, what makes that bag great is the idea of potentially getting everything you need in one shot. To me, with the smaller bag, you're still going to end up making trips. So, what's the point of having a bag like that with tools on the outside and the little tray on the inside? It kind of goes back to a lot of people's complaints with the OTMC. It was a great concept, but a lot of guys thought they were going to put so much more in there, and it ended up not being as much space as they had hoped.
I buy small bags to limit myself to that. I don't want to overload these things with too much stuff. But you're right. If you're buying that one bag to make that one trip, you need to go probably with the bigger one. It's only a $10 difference. So why not just go with the XL and get everything that you need all at one time?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm a small bag guy myself for day-to-day stuff. So I carry an MB2 and most recently the MC as my everyday. So I'm all about keeping it small and specific. But I think for that application, the drill bag XL is a pretty cool option.
Very cool. Now, I wanted to see if you had seen some of the other cool concept bags from Veto that they have coming out soon. Like they have a new Tech Pack MC. So I guess it's like the book bag style, but it's on the MC platform. What do you think about that?
I will have to look that up. I haven't heard of that. The first image that pops in my head is like a Veto fanny pack the MC is so small. You're saying it comes in a backpack form?
Yeah, the Tech Pack MC is what it's called. And so it's supposed to be like the MC frame, which I carry day to day. I carry the MC with me all the time. It's got backpack. Basically, it's got just shoulder straps for a backpack on it and whatnot.
Well, that sounds actually pretty cool the more I think about it. What's kept me away from the tech packs is, again, the size. And I just don't want to carry 50 pounds on my back, even doing commercial and going up ladders. It's still bulky to have a backpack going up fixed ladders and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I struggle with my backpack, especially going up through scuttles and whatnot, where it doesn't fit on your back. It's just, there's no way it's going to fit. There's no give. But I go back and forth and I take stuff out of it and I put it in my Tech MCT, and that bag I love. But there's always that one time that I get up on a roof. It's a pain in the neck that you have to scramble around a building, find the access and get up on the roof. And then you don't have whatever set of wrenches or whatever you need for that one unit. Now I got to go back down again. So I tend to overload. It's probably dumb on my part because it's going to kill my back at some point. But I keep carrying around the backpack that's just so damn heavy.
right.
I keep trying to go smaller and smaller, and I always wind up in the backpack.
Yeah, I couldn't carry the backpack day to day, man. It's just too much stuff in it. I could see it getting in the way. You know, I do residential and some like commercial stuff. So for residential, you try to climb an attic with a backpack on, it ain't going to work. And then if you leave it on commercial, if you get on like one of those ladders, it's got like the gerbil cage on it. You know what I'm talking about? It's got the back round on it. Does that ever get in your way when you do that, Billy? Or do you got to just kind of suck in and go from there?
It's not going to happen. You're going to have to carry it up or rope it up. There's no way it's going to wind up going through any of those.
And that's exactly what I was talking about before when I meant the fixed ladder, is that you get that cage around the back of you, and my frame, there's no sucking in that's going to keep you from getting snagged like a golf ball and a garden hose. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's some other little small pouches that I really, really am excited for that Roger's put on his Instagram. Now, for you guys who don't follow Veto on Instagram, search for Veto Pro Pack _ on Instagram. And man, I tell you what, I believe Roger himself runs that because there's all the time posting concept stuff on this one. There's another Veto Instagram, and I think that's more like kind of the corporate one that does the advertising and all that stuff. But the Veto Pro Pack _ is the one that has all kind of concept stuff on it. Man, they're all the time posting cool stuff like that. There's one he posted the other day at the end of January, and it's the TP1 and TP2. They're like really small type bags, They're kind of like tool pouches. They're not bags, I guess. They'd be more like tool pouches. I guess that's what the TP stands for. And they kind of snap over your belt, more kind of like an electrician's pouch. They snap over your belt, kind of a quick carry thing. And I'm really looking forward to that. It looks awesome.
I saw those as well in the catalog the other day, and I'm not sure if it's something that I would personally carry, but it is a pretty cool concept. I could see electricians using it certainly.
Sure, and they also fit in your back pocket, so you can like slide it in the back pocket real quick, and so you don't have to clip it on the belt. So you can slide it down, it slides in your back pocket, and keep 4 or 5 screwdrivers, a meter in it, and all you need for a basic service call in there. And I think I would use the heck out of that.
I love the concept of that style bag. They just never seem to work for me. So I'm hoping that Veto's will kind of step it up and maybe it will work, because those I have such a hard time. It always seems to be in my way when it's clipped to my belt. And then when I stick it in my back pocket, it winds up falling out anyway. I'm hoping that somehow, some way, Veto will step that game up and it'll work.
It's still a concept that I don't even think there's pictures of it yet, but I am holding out and I'm so excited for the updated MB2 2.0 that's going to have the hard molded bottom. To me, that's just the best of both worlds, and I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
You love your MB2, so.
I love my MB2.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about how it would look and how you could use it here in my head. And that would be really interesting. It's the MB2, the full meter bag, the fat meter bag with a flat base on it, so you could stand it up. You could have a little small pouch. I like that idea a lot.
It's literally my only complaint about that bag. Otherwise, I love 100% of everything about it. It's the fact that it doesn't stand up. So you fix that, and it's the perfect bag for me.
Well, see, they have on their Instagram here, he says this is a first round sample of the MB-TP, which is a meter bag / tool bag with internal removable panels, so it can be set up to carry tools and meters with removable panels that can be adjusted to fit meters or odd tools. So maybe that's the same thing. I'm not sure, but it looks pretty dang awesome. And then they also have coming out, they got like a range bag. They have marine bags, rigger bags. And they have firefighter totes, all kind of cool stuff coming up in the future. Have you seen any of that stuff, Andrew?
Yeah, I have. I've seen some of it online. Well, I saw some of it at the expo. So, yeah, they're doing a lot of cool things, a lot of experimenting, branching out a little bit beyond the construction world.
Now, Billy, tell me a little bit about Veto, like, because I thought they were kind of like a HVAC bag, but Billy corrected me and told me that they started out somewhere else.
They started out in the carpentry end. Roger needed bags that kind of worked. So more in the lines of carpentry and finished carpentry and things like that. They kind of kept growing and growing and growing, and they created one hell of a following with the bags that they were putting out, that guys were using the standard. I don't even know the style bags because I'm so bad at that, because I like the Tech series bags because that's my end of it. But when it came to the contractor series, they had the XL, and they came out with the OTLCs and OTXL, the open top bags. So they were set up for more chisels and screwdrivers and hammers and things like that. They created a following that the electricians started getting into it, and they were just great bags to hold everything you needed to be on a job site. They then branched out to the Tech series stuff, which has been great for me. And now they're going into, like you said, the range bags and the marine bags and everything else. But yeah, they definitely started in the carpentry end of things because that was Roger's job.
I would have never thought that. I kind of thought they started out kind of being HVAC bags, but I never would have thought they started out doing something else.
Yeah, it was those big tote bags. Yeah, I remember those when they first came out with them. And yeah, those Veto bags got me out of the bucket boss. That's what I was kind of leaning towards sticking out of, because the other tool bags just fell apart so quickly.
My wife kind of calls them like man purses because I have so many of them. So I collect them, and she's like, yeah, you're just like a woman with a purse. You get a new tool bag. But I tell her there's a difference. These help me make money and make a living. A purse does not.
Right. No, that just kind of spends more money.
Exactly. Spends money.
Exactly. So it's exciting stuff. The popularity of Veto has grown so much. I was just on Instagram the other guy, and Turbo Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, the guy we interviewed a while back, he got a Veto tattoo. Like, what a nutcase, but he got a Veto tattoo, man. He really did.
Really?
Yeah, he seriously did. I think it was on his wrist or something, man. Like, he is committed.
You can't deny the quality of a Veto bag when you've gone through the Husky bags and you've gone through the Klein bags and the Milwaukee bags and everything else. It's just something that's what Veto does well. Everybody else does their own things and they do them well. But when it comes to bags, I don't think you can really discount the fact that Veto kind of does it the best.
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely. They got another concept I wanted to mention was the apron, like a shop apron. I think it would be fantastic for woodworkers and things like that who work in a shop and do things like that. Could you see yourself wearing a shop apron, Andrew? You don't seem like an apron kind of guy.
I'm 100% not an apron guy.
I'm with you on that.
I do dabble in some woodworking too, but no, not an apron.
Yeah, I'm not an apron kind of guy either, but I do think it would be kind of cool for that kind of stuff, woodworking and whatnot. They have kangaroo pouches. I don't know if you've seen the concept for that either. They're like, Zach Ciota said, it kind of reminded him of like a woman's shoe rack, like hangs on the back of the door. This one is what they call the kangaroo pouch, and it's kind of a concept that they're working on. And it's supposed to be able to hold your like WD-40 and your spray coil cleaner and different things like this. And you can hang it on the cage of the van, or you can hang it on like the opening side door, one that opens, not slides. But I saw that concept picture on their Instagram, and I love that. That sounds like a really cool idea.
Well, that's just to depart from the praise a little bit. That's kind of where I would draw the line on some of this stuff as far as getting away from the core of what they're great at. I don't know. I could think of a lot of cheaper, easier ways to store things. Obviously, I have a group dedicated to it of finding ways to do that. And I think there's a lot more economical ways and cheaper, easier ways to do that than like a woman's shoe organizer, like what you just said.
Right. Well, somebody had posted a picture of just that in your group, which I thought was such a great idea for being able to do that.
Exactly. We all know Veto charges a premium for their product. We can't deny that they're top of the line bags for a top of the line price. So for me, I would not probably get just a flat panel organizer with the Veto name on it for the sake of it. I think there's a lot easier, cheaper ways to probably accomplish the same task.
Sure, but let's just say, whatever, $50, $75. Okay, so I go out and buy a $20 shoe organizer. Okay, that shoe organizer is going to last me a year, maybe opening and closing that, slamming that door is going to last me a year. I know that Veto is going to last me forever. To me, it's peace of mind buying it one time, not having to worry about replacing it later on down the road. That's where I come about that train of thought.
No, and I get that. I just think at some point, and the line is going to be different for everybody where you draw it. That slippery slope of if they came out with a Veto lawnmower cover. It's a tarp, basically.
Exactly.
But if you buy that Veto lawnmower cover, it's going to last your whole life. Are you still going to spend $150? I don't know. But I see what you're saying. For me, I'd limit it to bags probably, but it is cool to see all the different ideas and the places they're branching out to.
No, they're branching out to so many different places, and it's so awesome. And guys who are listening may think this is a damn Veto commercial, because I think last time you were on, we talked about Veto a lot, and they said it was a Veto commercial. And that's not the case. You're just talking to three guys who really like the brand. We enjoy it. I know the brand's popular. That's why we wanted to talk about the topic. And Andrew's got the in with the Veto guys, so that's why I wanted to bring him on. So don't think this is a paid advertisement or anything of that nature. We're just a couple guys who really like the brand.
Exactly. And I won't hesitate to complain about anything that I come across with the bags. And even like with the kangaroo, I have zero interest in it. And I don't think it's something I'd ever put any money into. So there's no bias here.
Exactly. And you were talking about the laptop bags earlier. That's not something I would be interested in getting. That wouldn't be on my radar whatsoever, but it's good for you with your commercial service and all that good stuff.
Right. Exactly.
Well, we've been a little while now. We've talked about Veto here and there. We've talked about the new drill bag. We've talked about what's coming up with Veto. I hope we've got you to listen to us for this long. We certainly appreciate it. You guys are great. You guys are what keep us going as the audience. Let us know how we're doing. Go on iTunes, go to the review, leave us 2, 3, 4, 5, 18 stars, however many stars you want to, as long as it's 5 or above, that's fine. We really appreciate it. Seriously, though, guys, let us know how we're doing. If we're doing something that you don't like, let us know. And also, Stitcher, I believe, has a place to leave a review, but I think you have to do that via a computer or whatever. But let us know, or even just shoot us a little message on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Shoot us a message. Let us know how we're doing. We appreciate it. And this brings us to the end of another one. Thank you so much, Andrew, for coming on and talking with us. We appreciate it, bud. And I guess we'll talk at you next time.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to the Tool Pros Podcast. The best way to listen to this podcast is by using your smartphone or other web-connected device, and subscribing using the podcast app on Apple devices or the Stitcher app, or Google Store for Android devices. You can find all of the shows on the Blue Collar Roots Network by going to bluecollarroots.com. From all of us at Blue Collar Roots, thank you for listening.